Hey y'all, this is Kyle with Inshore Edge, and I know you've heard me talk about mid-strolling techniques in some of my previous videos for trout, but I also want to mention and show you in this short video how effective it can be under diving birds. Essentially birds diving because there are trout underneath them eating shrimp or pogies.
I highly recommend you mid-stroll your fish.
Now, if you've ever fished for trout underneath diving birds, we all know it can be a feeding frenzy. It literally is a feeding frenzy, and it can be wild action. We also know that you can throw many things and get bit with many techniques because these fish are just feeding so aggressively. What I have found, though, is that by mid-strolling and keeping your lure in the upper water column, depending on the depth, you can avoid a lot of the quote-unquote trash fish or smaller trout that might be mixed. Now, I believe the reason for this is twofold. One, and maybe most importantly, I've experienced that the mid-strolling technique has led to bigger quality trout, a better class of fish. And I think that's because it drives and plays on an instinct that is more prominent in larger fish, and that is the upward feeding instinct, feeding up, ambushing into the upper water column. Also, by fishing in that upper water column for those larger fish, you avoid a lot of the trash fish and smaller trout that are lying beneath the school waiting for scraps and things of that nature. Alright, let's take a minute and listen to this goofy dude tell us a little about the mid-strolling technique.
You see, as I'm mid-strolling, just casting out, I'm in about 5 feet of water. I'm just twitch, just barely shaking the rod tip. I like to bring my wrist up like this. I like to hold. I normally don't hold all my fingers above the reel seat handle, but I found that helps me shake my wrist. And it's not a bump, bump, bump. It's just a like a nervous shake, like a quiver. And so depending on the design of your plastic, sometimes it'll roll, sometimes it'll just shake. And you just go slow or as fast as you want to keep where you want to be in the water column. If you need to get down, then you just let it sink a little bit. It's just incredibly effective. Nice white trout, I think. Look at that white trout, boy. Oh, there goes my bait. Now, one of the ways you can mix this up is you can do the real fine twitches. But I noticed some baits, the way they design them, whether it's a wing fluke or just certain design in the plastic, manufacturers are getting very good at making baits roll. And I noticed some of them you need to do more of a, if you can kind of see a pop, 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 pop. So in a slower, like so. And it just allows more time for it to roll. I noticed, like I said, with some baits, if you twitch it too fast, it won't roll. It'll just kind of shake. You just kind of have to look at your lure in the water and kind of get a feel for what you need to do with it. But the rolling action on these plastics that they make is pretty deadly.
So as we move into our summertime and you start seeing birds diving and start finding fish underneath them, maybe consider giving mid-strolling a try. And as a matter of fact, if you've never fished mid-strolling, this is a fantastic opportunity to get bit and build confidence. Because regardless of whether it plays out like I'm explaining it for you, you will get bit, because that's just the nature of fishing under birds. A lot of bites. Give it a shot.
There it is. That's a good fish there. That's a nice speck. Nice speck. Look at this. I'm gonna need the net on this one, dude.